Yeah, what was that? What was that theory that you wanted to talk about? Here we go. We're recording. We're live. Let's go work out. Do our normal thing.
So,
hey, give me some sound waves.
One. Maybe we'll go... Let me get this water.
Maybe we'll go what?
Well, there's two other topics that are a little easier covered.
No.
There's this other one. It's going to be a long discussion. I want your opinion on it because I'm, like, baffled. Anyway.
Let's go.
I think we talked a little bit about this other one, but I was looking at the DNA and stuff, right? Everyone knows we share about 96% of our DNA with chimps.
Okay.
It was at 50, 60% of our DNA shared with a fucking banana. A fucking banana, man.
Actually, that's why I sent that to you. Did you listen to that episode that I sent you?
I pulled up some of it, but I gotta apparently get down with Spotify now. They're like, no more freebies for you. And I'm like,
really?
Fuck. Yeah. They're like, keep pushing me to download the app, and I was like, I thought I downloaded something. I don't remember.
Oh yeah, no, I got the app, and they can advertise to me all that they want to, because Spotify is the greatest source for podcasting, because that's where we're podcasting.
That is the source right there. Plug, shameless plug.
Yeah, that's where we're at, right? Like, okay, so I looked into the monetizing thing too. Random topic. We got to get 1,000 people to listen to our podcast, and then we could do advertisements for Spotify and say why Spotify is the greatest platform for podcasters ever.
So you just need subscribers, huh?
Yep.
Keep posting. Every time it comes up, I like it, and mention it to some other person. They were like, oh. I'm like, now you should listen to it.
Yeah, you should listen to it.
You're a third.
Anyway,
person.
So
No, we just got to get on our shorts. We'll get a page.
Yeah.
We'll make advertisements for our page. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, we need to I'm not kidding, dude. We need to attack all the platforms, and then we'll just edit 30 seconds like everybody else. And then next thing you know, we'll be listening to 2.5 hours, 3 hours of the Joe Rogan Experience, only it's going to be the Keep It Weird podcast. But yes, we do share a lot of DNA with a lot of different species on this planet. And it's like,
though, not everything. Because again, it's not like we share this broad spectrum with everything. There was some really interesting shit, like an earthworm, a fair amount of DNA, a fucking potato, a banana. We've got canine DNA apparently, and I was like,
yeah,
what the fuck?
It's like we have the same building blocks that created the human monkey as all the rest of the life forms on this planet. We even share similar DNA traits to mushrooms. Have you seen the mushroom guy? The mushroom guy's awesome.
Okay, that's some interesting stuff, because this gentleman, I'm not going to go off of his name because there could be a little controversy here, but he was talking about blood types. And I've always wondered this, too, because the introduction of different blood types, to me, always seemed like different species of humans. Now, I'm not talking different colors, creeds, or races, but you goddamn fucking line up 100 white people, and you're like, some of you are just... Different, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Some of you are different in a good way, some of you are different in like are you in a spectrum kind of way, you know, but
hey
anyway,
man, I'm on the spectrum. Leave me alone.
We're all on the spectrum. Anyway. But again, yes, the different blood types, and how so the O negative blood is like the base blood type, which is real humans, and the other blood types were introduced through like Neanderthal DNA and shit. And I was like, interesting, very interesting. I've always wondered that. That is very interesting. He went off way more scientific, and I don't want to butcher any of the theory, you know, so I'm not going to ramble anymore about it, but I was just like, man, this guy knows what he's talking about, and that's some interesting shit.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so... But yeah, I was just curious. I know we, shared some of our DNA with other creatures, but a fucking banana and a potato, like, I just...
So what, you're 50% banana, is that what you said? And
yeah.
Like, what, 30% potato?
I'm not sure about the potato. I just know there was a big chunk in there, so if I start, referring to people being like, you fucking bananas, like... We're just being fucking bananas at the moment. We're being a fucking potato. You're being a fucking potato.
Leave the Irish out of it with the whole potato thing.
Well, that's why I didn't, banana does, connotate. Sometimes people are a little racist with that, and potato could be a little Irish, but in my mind, all I'm saying is, don't be dumb. You're just being dumb. Like you're being like a potato. Like how, don't be fucking potatoes.
Yeah. Be a couch potato.
Many ways to take that, but yeah. Interesting, right?
Yeah.
What else? Okay.
Anyway, that Joe Rogan I'm telling you, man, you got to listen to that episode. It's like 2075 or whatever it was. I can't pull it up on my phone, but
222 something. Oh, here's another one. So yeah, I got three
Bretler
things.
Bar.
So, did you know a butt load is an actual measurement? Yeah, really? I was fucking blown away.
Yep, they used to give you a buttload of ale or something like that. Is that? That's
It's a buttload of wine. So it's 126 gallons of wine is an actual buttload. And
because it was in the butt of the boat.
we've been using that term, forever,
Shit.
right? And I'm curious in some, origin of words and terms sometimes, and that's crazy. It's an actual, real measurement. So next time I'm gonna, go up to someone like a buttload, and I'm gonna be like, nah, I'm nowhere near 126 gallons. That was crazy. Oh, there's our friend, little bird. You know the name of the bird because
The vermilion flycatcher.
Wayne is very.
Yeah, that's one of those
man.
ye old times. Have you seen the actual charts for the measurements?
No.
Yeah, oh man.
Got a bunch of weird ass shit like that. Like
This
a buttload?
is, yeah, in the imperial system versus the metric system, there is. Hold on. I'm gonna Google this because it's worth it.
Yeah, guy in the chair, that shit. A fucking buttload. They were huge ass barrels too. They had a picture of them. Like, that's a buttload of wine, and that's legit. One buttload. There's 2 buttloads of wine over there. Yeah, I'm gonna have fun at work with that. I'm like, that's a buttload of soda, 126 gallons. We have 2 buttloads of soda in the back with all of our bibs, guys. Did you know that?
Yeah, no, it's.
There's 2 Vermilia flycatchers.
Yeah, they're mating pair.
Oh, I've only ever
There
seen
it
it
is.
one at a time. I swear.
There it is. I found it.
Yeah, hook it up.
TWIP.
A TWIP?
The TWIP is the smallest unit of measurement in the imperial system.
Whoa. Okay,
Yeah.
give me more than that. What is how? Give me some reference, or what do you measure a TWIP with? Like, that's.
Hold
one
on. Let's see. This is like micro units. So 20 TWIPs makes a point. 12 points make a pica.
What?
6 points make a line. 63 points make a finger. 7/8 of a finger is an inch. Right?
So a TWIP is like half of a pencil mark, kind of. Is that what?
Point. I suppose. 12 lines is an inch. 1 line is the equivalent of a poppy seed. And 4 poppy seeds is barley corn. And then 3 barley corn is an inch. 2 inches is a stick. 2 sticks is a hand. 3 hands are a foot. And then on the other side of that, 3 inches equals a palm. And for a digit, 4 digits equals 1 palm. 3 digits equals a nail. 4 nails equals a span. There's a whole chart of it. It goes all the way down.
That's crazy.
And then it goes over to the inch, foot, yard, fathom. Did you know that 15 fathoms is a shackle?
Fathoms. So fathoms are like, that's the depth of sea, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's basically like a knot on a rope is how the old sailors used to do it.
Yeah.
And then 100 fathoms is a cable. And then 10 cables is a nautical mile. And then 3 nautical miles is a league.
I wonder the whole nautical mile versus like a regular mile, like the difference, because how you measure that. And then a league. That's a way old ass term. I remember that, like, that's 10,000 leagues away. That's from movies and stuff.
Yeah, that's 3 nautical miles, which is the equivalent of a mile on this chart. It's like the same thing. But, if you look at the metric system, it's all like 0 to 100 is of this equals 1 of that.
It's very easy, yeah. So we won't transfer to the metric system, and everyone has instituted some sort of transfer measurement for American measurement.
Yeah.
So like a foot or an inch, everyone's got went on there. It was like da-da-da. Oh, and by the way, this many so-and-sos makes an inch simply because we have to keep up with the Americans because they're...
There's so many times on the construction yard where I just want to look at something and go, yeah, that's about 3,000 TWIPs and just walk away,
Next time, that's about a cable and a half. Fucking, that's a whole fathom. We gotta get
That's a Gary's chain right there. That's what that is.
Chain? What?
Yeah, Gary's chain is on the chart.
Oh, okay.
God, I really hope that was all recording.
Gary's chain.
Yeah, if we could, I think we got that. That's gold. That's podcast gold right there.
All right, here's the big one. And then this one took me a minute to wrap my fucking brain around. So I really need your scientific... I'm serious. This one, I'm just like thinking about it. And this is one of those things I wish we were big enough so I could have whoever is credited with this scientific theory to come on and explain it to me, because I just can't stand the logic behind any of this shit. And anyone who believes in it, I really think is I don't know. Anyway, so... You've heard of Death Valley. We all know Death Valley. Those sliding rocks that create those lines.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
So, the Death Valley sliding rocks.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Right.
Accessing my scientific memory banks here.
Huge ass trails of these rocks, and they, forever couldn't have any idea why. So they're like, oh, we finally figured out how this happens. And I'm like, oh, cool. Let's hear it, right? Something, Earth magnetics or whatever. No. And this is what the scientific community is adopting, as this is plausible. So at night, frost, it just freezes and the wind will carry the rock slowly, and then it just continues over time, and that's how the process works. And I was like, wait a minute. So you're telling me that the wind's got to... there's so many things wrong with that, right, that I can think of, and I have no scientific background. So I fucking wish, please, whoever came up with this theory, Dr. So-and-so, please, with your education, come out, because right now I'm going to debunk the crap out of this, and I don't understand what the fuck you're thinking. So you're telling me, first of all, the wind's got to be strong enough to fucking push this rock, right? Which is astronomically fucking improbable, right?
Okay.
2, the frost has to fucking form in such a way that the rock gets pushed across by this wind, right?
Sure.
The temperature in Death Valley doesn't reach anywhere close to freezing except for in December, which only gets down to 39 fucking degrees. So that is completely illogical that some sort of frost will fucking happen on the goddamn ground, that magically at the same fucking time the wind is strong enough to push the fucking rock to leave an indentation in the goddamn ground, and yet there's still frost on the fucking soil. So how did that fucking happen? And yet the ground is so goddamn dry that any fucking moisture that happened, you think the dirt would be like, and just suck it all down into it. So how the hell does it have some sort of frost to fucking slide on? And on top of that, how does it leave a fucking trail if there's frost on the surface for it to fucking have no friction for the wind to fucking push it across? So you have this huge ass fucking trail that's like fucking hundreds of feet, and they're like, oh, fucking frost. Few seconds at night, and fucking the wind perfectly fucking slid the rock across. And I'm like, are you fucking daffy? What? That makes no fucking sense.
As awesome as your rant just was.
Hit it.
How does water evaporate from the ground? Does it go from the top down or the bottom up?
Okay, I'm not sure.
It goes from the bottom up, contrary to belief.
Hit it.
There can potentially, I'm not saying that I'm a scientist.
Oh yeah, no.
There is potential for that moisture that you said was going to be in the air to get sucked into the ground. Yes, that's going to happen. But there's also... There's also a probability that the water from under the ground is coming up on those cold nights and creating that frost. Now, I don't have trail cams, and if I did, I'd be like, let's go out to fucking Death Valley and put out trail cams and watch these things slide over the course of a year.
We're going to do that.
That would be dope.
That I don't believe any of that.
But I think somebody has already done it. It's had to have been done before, and it's got to have been out there.
It's a fucking theory, and their assholes are like, oh, this is what happens. I would love some fucking time-lapse footage of a rock sliding across the fucking ground. But none of that makes any fucking sense to me. The wind cannot be strong enough to push a fucking 3-4 pound rock across the ground without blowing all the dirt that's making the trail that's leaving behind scatter. First of all. Secondly, how the hell is that wind that focused enough to make a fucking rock slide? And you think if it would happen everywhere else. Like Antarctica, they have fucking hurricane level winds there sometimes. There's fucking ice fucking sheets everywhere.
But they have no rocks.
Bullshit. There are fucking rocks sitting everywhere. There are fucking chunks of ice that have flown around again from the wind that's powerful enough to push a rock across the ground to make a fucking trail that perfectly across that, but yet it doesn't leave any sort of like pattern. That's some bullshit. And the ice forms frosted perfectly enough to be able to slide the rock across. Like, are you fucking high? What pothead sat down on the couch and they were like, bro, I got it, man. I got it. So ice forms, and the rock will get pushed by wind, and then it'll leave a trail, and that's our bullshit. What the fuck? None of that makes any sense.
Don't be sad.
If the wind was that strong enough, again, like, and here's another thing. The wind doesn't blow in one direction all the time, right? It's like a fickle teenager. True?
Yeah.
You tell me the wind is consistently enough in that fucking place that it pushes the rocks in like a semi-perfect fucking line? Bullshit. That thing would be zigzagging, going back and forth, fucking, if that was possible.
Well, I don't know. If a strong enough wind
pattern.
If a strong enough wind has a current, it does blow in a general direction.
Exactly, sure.
So it is entirely possible that hurricane level winds got together.
Blow this. They'd be like,
and they started blowing north. And that
it's
boulder
in a valley, and again, I give it, the
just
picture
goes
they had
north.
was like in a valley, and again, I'm like, cool, I can see some wind coming this way. Like, again, it's plausible. It's very plausible. But the more and more I thought about it, I'm just like, wait a minute here. So the wind is that powerful to shoot this thing across with ice, right? But yet again, it doesn't blow the dirt anywhere else. It is able to leave a fucking trail on the goddamn ground. And that happens consistently enough that it leaves a trail like that. Not like a little, like, oh, oops. Like, oh, it moved a little bit.
No, like I've seen
This
it.
sheet's
It digs
fucking
into the ground.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thank you. It digs in the ground. How? No, unless the whole ground is completely frosted over and the wind is pushing and that somehow that rock doesn't get trapped in the dirt. It just gets slid across in a very, very, same level. The more I think about it, I'm like, none of that makes any sense. It's like off of Men in Black when he's like, swamp gas reflected off of a cloud, and, everyone's just like, oh, yeah, like, it sounds plausible. The more you dig into it, you're like, I don't know. It just doesn't, just not computing here. So again, I want someone with more education to be able to lay it out to me, because I'm just looking at it being like, Bigfoot exists. I don't believe this shit, though. That doesn't make any sense. Like, I really wish scientists just had enough balls to be like, we don't know. I have no idea.
I have no idea. Also, aliens exist.
There are rocks sliding across the ground in here, and we, I don't know.
Maybe that's what happens. So maybe the aliens come in the middle of the night.
Honestly, it's probably
and they
some
have
sort of
rock drag races over the course of decades.
And I think that, everything has its own magnetic force. Like, I heard this theory that gravity is actually not, because we can't prove gravity is real.
It's a theory still.
Yeah, exactly. So this theory has that everything has its own everything has its own
magnetic force. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's the actual force that's pulling us down to the earth.
This is you ever want to see that theory in real life? Just go work in the electrical trade. You'll see some really, really, really weird shit happen.
What do you mean?
Give me examples. I don't have any examples for you, but like weird shit starts happening to your cell phone. It's like all of a sudden it's a minute off. Like, yeah, doesn't Google control that like on an Android phone, or Apple control that on an Apple phone? Mm-hmm. Yeah, next thing you know, it's just a minute off somehow, some way. It's a lot of weird stuff. So it happens over time, gradually, like slowly, but it happens,
Ooh, he's on the rabbit hole we went down. So apparently we're not in the right century. There's this theory that whichever pope, I can't remember, got the other leaders of the world to agree that we jumped ahead like 300 years or something, that the the Dark Ages never happened. They could prove it. And I was like, this is interesting.
They tried to make sure that the Dark Ages never happened?
Well, what it is the Dark Ages never actually happened. That we just skipped ahead 300 years.
I really don't trust anything that's in our history books, to tell you the honest truth, period.
Yeah.
You could tell me that crocodiles existed like 4,000 years ago, and I'd be like, okay, cool. Sounds about right, sure.
Well, aren't they like one of the sharks? Like a shark, like a living fossil, I want to say?
Yeah, they are a living fossil. They're like, they're a leftover from the dinosaur era. Well, which era is that? Because every time I look at dinosaurs, they're different from when I studied them as a kid. Wow, we just went way off.
Paleolithic or like the Neolithic or the Jurassic era, is that what you mean?
Yeah, something like that, Mm-hmm. So for the Pope to be like, hey, the Dark Ages didn't exist.
Well, because I've heard some shit like that, right? And I've always wondered, like, how come things took a downfall, and the Roman society, but the whole world. But they really, really lay down a bunch of facts. They're like, all these buildings didn't occur. They're like 96% of the buildings that were attributed during this time didn't exist. They're all destroyed or something. And I was like, this is interesting facts.
It's just a bunch of weird shit that happens in history, and the only thing that we have is the evidence from them, but who's to say you can't recreate and tamper with and all that kind of crap? Like,
evidence.
I believe nothing.
I don't have no faith in carbon dating. It's complete nonsense.
Yeah.
Not necessarily complete nonsense, but I mean, you have a time range ranging from a couple 100,000 years, and they're like, I'm going to pick this couple 100 years to fit my theory, and on top of that, they fucking carbon dated was organic material that was found at the fucking site. They're like, this pottery is 2,000 years old. This stone structure must be a couple 100 years more than that.
Yeah, it's like
you can't date stone.
Yeah, they're like, you can't carbon date stone, which was another thing I was going to say. But it's like, yes, this carbon dates between the era of 1304 BC to 1507 BC. Okay, pal.
Yeah, these huge ass ranges.
Sure.
There's a different measurement technique that scientists were putting forth because carbon dating was such crap. And it's so easily fucked with because you can just be like, I'm gonna cherry pick the date on this to go along with my theory because I'm the head honcho around here and everyone's got to agree with what I say because I've been doing this for X amount of years and my entire life is literally wrapped up in our erroneous theories of history.
How much of the world, though, is that way? Like, how much of it is just some guy sitting at his desk going, we've always done it this way, so this is the way we're going to continue to do it?
Between the Smithsonian and the Papal Archives alone, I think history be rewritten several different times. I mean,
the chemtrails are really out today. They got 3 planes going.
That's a different episode. So on that.
You want to stick to the magnetic theory? Because I have in that I was really hoping that you'd listen to it, but I keep coming back to it because I'm stuck on that. So the guy that you'll listen to, I forgot the guy's name, and my phone's all the way over there.
That Joe was rogating with?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
He says that they've measured on an EEG the Hertz radiation levels of your brain waves.
Okay. Like it's giving off radiation?
Yes, of your brain waves. Okay. They measure it in Hertz, which is a magnetic field, which is why this all ties together. Hey, there we go. So, some people operate between certain Hertz levels of their prefrontal cortex and the posterior of their brain, right? Okay. So the back of the brain, this guy says that he fires at 12.7 Hertz in the back of his brain. But on the prefrontal cortex in the front of his brain is firing at 9.5 Hertz or whatever the case may be. And he's talking about a technology to make the magnetic neural paths, or use magnets to strengthen the neural paths to make the whole brain fire at that, whatever it was level, the 12.7 level or whatever I said.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is really interesting. And I thought about it because we always said that there's different caliber of people, right?
Fuck yeah, there is.
So this is just one of those, like, I had the theory, this guy totally validates it, that I just see like years later, because he's saying that there are people, the lowest Hertz reading that they had was 0.1 when I looked into it. And that is basically found in infants when they're sleeping, right? They're just basically vibing, Mm-hmm. They're coming into their existence and what have you.
Wow.
Yeah, and then the highest, I don't know, but the highest is somewhere around 13. That's measurable in an adult. And that's the difference between a high-level operator and your fentanyl zombies, which you said we talk about last week.
He's right. I did mention at the end of last episode that we would talk about the homeless crisis and fentanyl zombies. We still have some time. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
Good.
So
good segue.
So this whole theory of the caliber of people, because we're like, some people are BBs, some people are airsoft. They now have gel bullets, BB bullets that just splatter on contact or whatever.
What?
You haven't. Oh my God, it's so cool. Those things are so cool.
Is it that chemical release thing that you don't have to have a license for? I saw some gun.
No. It's a kid's toy.
Okay, this was a straight up like non-lethal fucking projectile that you could take everywhere that you didn't need a license for and shit. That was like a chemical release. It like looked like a fucking airsoft gun, but you shot these pellets at someone, it released some fucking shit on them. They're like, incapacitates a person for 30 minutes. And I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's weird. Here's a noxious gas. Does my bullet smell like chloroform to you? Pop, pop.
I mean, I was looking into it because the non-lethal, because you don't need a license for it. Mm-hmm. You don't need any sort of certification. You could travel around with it because it wasn't a firearm, technically.
Huh.
And I was like, that's kind of crazy.
It's probably in one of those legal areas where it's not illegal, but it's not legal either. It's a thing.
It's probably one of those things that just haven't got with because it's not a deadly projectile. I mean, technically, I think you might be able to have a beanbag gun. I'm not sure. You can have tasers, and all that kind of shit. So it's just the application of it that can get you in trouble, not the possession of it. It's the way you utilize it,
Awesome.
And again, usually it's personal. So it's not like a law thing. It's someone could sue you personally.
For assault or something like that?
Yeah,
some ambiguous thing?
Whatever. Because it's America, and you can sue anyone because they fucking upset your feelings or something.
All right, so remember before with the mics were on, I was talking about how I get talking points, right? Mm-hmm. This circles around to one of the talking points that I was talking about.
Good.
Or wanted to hit, because we can segue like a motherfucker all day. Yeah, we're professional podcasters, folks. Guarantee it.
What's the difference between professional and entertaining? I'm not sure.
Anyway, let me get your take on this, right? So we're just talking about guns and proficiency and, self-defense, right? Mm-hmm. Andrew, do you know who Andrew Bustamante is? Have you seen him on your reels and feeds and shorts? You probably have seen him. He's this guy who looks like a hippie. He's got really dark, curly, wavy hair, and he usually has some kind of headband on, and he's ex-CIA operative, whatever the case may be for that. And he has a website called Everyday Spy. Him and his wife left the CIA, and they operate within this gray area of what the CIA allows them to do. And there's a whole conspiracy theory around that. That's not what I wanted to go into. What I wanted to go into is his recommendations for the next tragedy. Okay?
Oh, okay.
You want to hear? You want to hear what he has to say, just in case something like Leave the World Behind goes down, where all communication goes to shit, and we have another pandemic, and people are making run on toilet paper and all that crap.
Oh,
are you ready for his top 3 recommendations?
Hit it.
Okay. Carry at least $200 in low denominational U.S. currency bills, or the dominant currency of where you live. Okay. Makes sense, right?
Okay, something like when it immediately happens, people will still be accepting cash.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Right. $5, it'll go a lot longer than $5 right now, because nobody will make change for the bigger bills, the 50s and the 100s. That's the theory behind that.
True.
Seems reasonable, right?
Okay.
The other thing is, wear laced, closed-toed shoes all the time. Just all the time, just in case shit goes down.
So you can use your shoelaces for something?
I don't know. I guess it's versatile. You can run.
In closed-toe shoes, though, laced
closed-toed shoes. I've never seen laced non-open-toed shoes, but I'm pretty sure they're out there. Fashion's a thing.
So I think maybe it's just the versatility, because if you had boots, it'd be too, or, who knows? Right?
I'd rather have boots. Honestly, I'm more comfortable in boots than I am some
What's
sneakers.
the running factor?
Yeah. I can still run in my boots.
It's not that you can't run in boots. But how fast could you run comparative to running in shoes? Anyway, sorry, not to segue.
I don't know, man. The boots that I have, my steel toe boots that I've lived in for 14, 15 years, I'm way more proficient. Way more proficient. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so far these are a little interesting. What's his third one?
All right, so his third one is to become proficient with a baton. Don't become proficient with a gun. Don't become proficient with a knife. Don't carry any of those things. Carry a collapsible baton. So that way, when someone points a gun at you, you can smack their hand with the baton, and then you've got a gun or a knife. Yeah, I could see you processing it right now, so that's leading to some dead air. So I'm going to wait for your response.
I get where he's coming with, but in that split moment, I've never seen anyone whip out a baton, because that's a very ha! And you got to swing that bitch around. That's like four
No,
shots.
you become proficient with it, so you're just lightning fast.
Okay, I can see a fucking.
Yeah, I still think you're going to get shot in that split second, but that's just me.
I mean, okay, I like follow up, because it's like someone leaves you with an idea and then just let you marinate on it, but instead they could give you some of the spices to go with it. You know what I'm saying? This is what I want. I want some background, because he's got some information. He's got obviously some sort of reason why he says that, but I'm just
So the only thing that I could justify it is if you're in a city like Chicago where guns are illegal and nobody has any guns whatsoever, then you could have a stick. Or if you're in London or England or something like that, where they really are serious about their gun laws, you know. But here in the States, stateside, I don't see it as a bad thing to get proficient with some kind of melee weapon, some kind of handheld weapon. I think that's really awesome. But if you're going to have a stick versus a gun, pretty sure you're going to lose that fight if you've got the stick. I'm just going to throw that out there.
You know, the longer term, his idea would be very useful because bullets at that point would either be a scare tactic or people would just be holding empty guns to frighten people. Two, sticks, you know, again, a baton, you know. If you have a really good one that's not a folding piece of shit, like you hit someone with it once or twice and that's now done. Mm-hmm. I've seen, there's a really badass one that's floating around fucking Facebook where they're like driving over with a car and they're hitting it or whatever. You've seen that baton, right?
No, I haven't.
Really?
No.
I gotta get it. It's a really badass folding baton that they're doing all this crazy weight testing with, and there's all kinds of really cool military gear I want to get, like these gloves you can bash out a window with. That should be good legit for the homeless in fentanyl zombie issue.
That seems legit. Oh, yeah, for sure. For the fentanyl zombies, people that are coming at you for 30 seconds with their fists, yeah, pull out a stick and smack them upside the head.
No, I meant the other way. I meant like me, I need some gloves that I could, you know, tear down some glass with because you got some fentanyl zombies creeping at you or whatever. And on top of that, there's this jacket they keep advertising that's like stab proof and shit.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, there's like this guy stabbing a boxer quick, then he's like starts to stab his chest, and I was like, cool.
Is that like Kevlar or something?
It looks like there's some sort of plating in it or whatever. I think the one guy actually shoots himself like real quick, but I don't know how real that is. But
with a blank?
Who knows?
Because that still has a bullet to it, so it's got some
that would have kicked him behind there and give him some internal bruising at least. But yeah, I mean, I'm all for the military application for civilian.
Did we forget about working out?
I mean, again, we kind of, since we've really gotten into more of the miking, we really do a little bit of working out while we podcast. Before we would work out and then podcast. I'm not sure if you can hear me, but whoever's cooking that, it smells fucking delicious. Barbecue, you got that shit on point.
That smoker's going for
yeah, you got
tonight,
it, man. Just
for
fucking
sure.
know. From a fucking third-party stranger perspective, that shit is smelling good.
Your sauce is amazing.
That, I mean, you appreciate someone's cooking in the air, man. Like, damn, that's good.
90% of what you taste is smell, which is really weird.
We eat with our eyes too.
Yeah. So, all right, go on. You wanted to cover this homeless fentanyl zombie thing.
I mean, cover nothing, man. It's more of just like a update, you know, like how are they all doing, you know, like what's going on, you know.
You check in with some people?
Some of them, I mean, some people are coming and going, you know, like I try not to get emotionally attached, but it's okay. This one guy was talking about how he's like I support crack over fentanyl, and he's like,
yes,
crack cocaine. You saw that guy?
Yep.
Ranting on that, and he's like, they had superpowers when they were doing crack. He's like, he'd be up for hours, clean your house, fix your car, run all the way over there, come back. He's like, these fentanyl zombies, like they know shit. They're just fucking. I can't do it justice, but that guy was going off for a minute. Yeah. I'm like,
I promote crack.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. He had some good, you know, when people have a good role when they're going, I don't want to butcher their, you know, speeches, you know. It's kind of, it's like a low
just
blow.
Edit into it.
Yeah, I really wish we had that, you know, part where you just edit into it and go off of his actual words right now. So
yeah.
Give him, we could give him credit for it, you know, get people on there, you know, links in the description below, kind of shit.
Oh yeah. Well, like I said, I'm gonna go play with this episode. We'll see. Maybe I can find I promote crack guy and throw him in the show notes or whatever. Whew. But I do know that fentanyl is a terrible, terrible epidemic right now. Fentanyl. But I've been out of the drug game for so long. I don't know. I'm sure there's somebody who's quote unquote cool sitting on their couch like, man, these guys don't know nothing about fentanyl. It's not dangerous as long as you handle it. Yeah, send it to me.
Well,
send the link to me. I'll just be like 13 minutes in. Oh yeah. There's that. Well, we're way past 13 minutes right now.
Those fentanyl zombies. There you go.
Apparently these mics are supposed to be really long range, so this part experiment, it's our ongoing experiment.
Okay. From the receiver? Interesting.
The receiver, yeah.
Oh, as long as we don't get within, See, I lost all those funny measuring tools we had before. Don't get within 10 lines of each other. Squibs?
Twips.
Twips. That's what it was. Fucking twips over here. What does that mean? You're the smallest unit of measurement. That's what you fucking are. You're a twip. Some fucking twips.
Just drop the mic. That's going to sound awesome later.
Don't be a twip.
Don't be a twip. I really hope that this records. I actually tried this out yesterday to see if it would record. So I did everything that I did before.
Very nice.
We'll just see. Oh, again, these mics came with another pictograph language that I don't understand because, yeah, it was Chinese confirmed this time. So I went online to watch the videos about the mics to see if I'm doing the right thing. So we'll see. Homeless fentanyl zombie. Oh yeah, that fentanyl. Fentanyl is scary because a lot of the human traffickers are using fentanyl at playgrounds. So girls will pick up a tissue or something attractive that a mom drops or something like that and pass out and get put in a van and taken away.
What?
Just from touching it.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you know it's bad when there are people out there like, I promote crack over fentanyl.
Fuck, dude.
Like, yeah, do the good old-fashioned meth, not this fentanyl crap.
Real. No more relying on the kindness of strangers.
Yeah, like, back in the day, you could be at a rave and people would be like, hey, you want a bump? And you'd be like, hey, yeah, let's do a bump. Not anymore.
Huh.
Not anymore.
Just for the record, Wayne was at those raves alone. I wasn't there with him. Just saying.
I
wasn't old enough, actually. That was back when we were still young. I was like 16.
Oh my God.
15.
I feel like that, what's that one guy? Anyway, he gives his opinion on boomer generation versus nowadays kids or whatever. I feel like that guy when you say shit like that. Yeah, back in the day.
Well, I see rave pictures from people sometimes and I'm like, yeah, that's that thing.
Yeah. That's not the way I remember him. It's the one where everybody's all messed up and they like shit the pants and they're like puking a big old puddle. That's the stuff I remember.
I just remember you guys had really good like drugs before the raves. Like that was good LSD or mushrooms there.
What's the statute of limitations on this?
Kids call it microdosing nowadays. Is it kind of like admitting to murder when murder's not a crime anymore? Like, I don't know, like it can't be held, responsible.
Can't be held liable. Well, I heard from a guy who knew a guy that might have not pled the fifth, and he already got arrested. I don't know what else to say. I don't.
Really?
No, dude. Like,
at that point, I don't think anyone gives a fuck anymore.
Right? Like, you look at Joey Diaz, and he's like, I robbed a guy for 2 pounds of coke back in the day. And I just went over to his house and just pulled it out of the ceiling. And you're like, what the hell? Oh, he already did the time for it. Gotcha.
Wait, is that a UFC fighter?
Joey Diaz?
Oh, that's a Nick.
No, he's a comedian, man. He's hilarious.
Yeah, Nick Diaz.
Like, he'll be on a podcast and it'll be like going low, and he'll just start telling a story, and it's amazing. It's amazing.
One of those guys that got great stories, but you're like, yeah, I don't hang out with him that much.
Right? He's one of those guys where it's like, because of your stories, I'm not gonna hang out with you. I know exactly what kind of nonsense you're getting into here.
Some people are super entertaining, but I just don't roll that hard,
Yeah. Absolutely. And raves are still a thing, apparently. I don't know.
Oh, dude, yeah. There's all kinds of like rave pictures from people, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. The internet's is a thing.
Yeah. We're gonna have a DJ battle. All right, cool.
My DJ battle.
See, like those guys. Those guys make sense. I wouldn't want to hold a gun on that guy. Because he's practiced so many damn times he's going to take your gun, especially at close range. But they obviously have a toy gun, and they're obviously training.
Yeah, a lot of it's just the initial practice and then knowing what you're doing. I've seen some really kick-ass videos of some people disarming folks or takedowns and shit. Like some really badass takedowns.
Were they like legit situational takedowns?
Well, there's a couple of videos, couple content providers that the guy will like go around and his friends or his crew, whatever, will like jump him in like a real life scenario kind of thing.
Oh.
It's like very realistic.
Keeps him fresh.
Yeah, he's like walk around and then like someone comes out of nowhere and then like they do the thing and then he stops, pause, explains it, and then goes back and like how do you defend yourself or something.
Huh.
And then another guy, he I don't know where he gets it, but he gets all kinds of clips and videos of people beating the fuck out of each other online,
Okay.
Random bar fights or street fights or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he'll break it down to like what's really going on, or sometimes he'll be like, this guy knows what he's doing and this guy doesn't, and he'll tell you why, and he'll tell all this shit. Like one of the cool battles I remember, it was a parking lot battle, one of those enclosed parking lots.
Okay.
It looked like some sort of gang battle, but maybe some sort of internal gang battle.
Okay.
Like because these two guys were squaring off, and the one guy, got all hard, took his shirt off, did the thing, whatever, and this guy just like straight up squared up, and then fucking leg kicks him, and the guy just fucking falls down to his fucking, face and gets back up, and he comes charging at him, and the guy explains, he's like, you see how he's backing away right now? He's like, he gives him way more time to, wait for this guy to come up. He's like, he's obviously an experienced fighter right here. He explains how he knew what he was doing. He's like, most people, he's like, can't even, deal with the shock of a leg kick.
Yeah, have you seen those UFC fighters?
Oh, yeah,
when they break it down?
Take it down, yeah.
When they break that down, they're like, crack, crack. It looks like he's doing nothing except for playing with them, but when someone at that professional level explains it, like, oh, watch now, he's going to shift his weight, and then the dude shifts his weight and gets the leg that was kicked onto his back to protect it. Yeah. Now he's hurting. Yep. Now he's trying to recover. Now he's like thinking about how bad that hurts. Whoa!
And then he gets smacked again. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then next thing you know, he's out because he doesn't have that good trunk, that good stance or whatever it is.
Yeah, this guy got laid on his ass, and the guy backs up, and the guy charges at him. And I can't remember what he does. He like just fucking flips and takes him down or something. And he talks about, he's like, look here. He's like, this guy was all about showboating. He's like, yeah, he may have fought somewhere before. He's like, this other guy, he's like, had real professional training. He's like, this is the difference. He's like, this guy may have had some experience. This guy was trained and knew what he was doing.
Yeah. Yeah, like everybody complains about the soccer players that, are quote unquote milking it or whatever. And I don't doubt that there are soccer players that are out there milking it, but when someone who can kick a soccer ball at 120 miles an hour down the field kicks you in the shin with that same spring action, it's gonna sting a bit.
Oh my god,
it's gonna sting a bit. Put that on your shirt.
Athlete in their realm hurts you with their abilities. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, a soccer player may not be as, say, physically athletic as, say, like a football or basketball star. However, that motherfucker's got a better kick than any of those guys, because that's all he does is run and run and run and kick and run and run.
I'm going to argue at that point with you. Soccer players run for 90 minutes. Maybe they get subbed out in that 90 minutes.
Exactly.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. Big, huge maybe. Football, basketball players?
It's all pausing, stop, go.
Yeah, man. Have you been to a game?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I would not want to get kicked by a soccer player.
I wouldn't want to get kicked by a soccer player.
He's not as big or as fit as the other guys, but his tone, his practice.
I'm going to argue that they're more fit than football and basketball players. Because football and basketball players, they can...
Like a stamina level, kind of like running endurance.
Yeah, they have a different level of... they have a different level of fitness than a football or a soccer or a basketball player does. Yeah. Because in football and basketball, they have timeouts. They have media timeouts. They stop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you've ever been to a game, college level game or whatever, you realize that those players spend more time staring at the sideline than they do actually playing.
Oh yeah, no, lots of... You get your 3 or 4 main players that make up the team, and then you got your subs coming and going.
Yeah. Whereas a soccer player, like, they can't strategize unless it's halftime, or the coach sends in a certain sub, and he starts telling the other players, oh, we're going to shift to this way or that way, and hope that it's been practiced and rehearsed. I used to play soccer, full disclosure. But I was also training with this guy who was like teaching me how to street fight and stuff, and he's like, that's your kick. That's it. That's what's going to separate you from anybody else. Nice. Just wind that up and kick him in the shins and you're good.
I want to get leg kicked.
You want to get leg kicked?
No, I said I wouldn't want to get leg kicked. Like,
I wouldn't either. And the only defense of that is like those Muay Thai fighters that have destroyed the nerves in their shins by rolling their shins for hours upon hours with heavy weights.
Yeah, I'm good with that. There's a lot of training. I'm like, yeah.
Did I knock the wind out of your sails by saying that magical gnomes come and they move the rocks themselves?
Oh no, I just don't believe it. I just absolutely, none of it makes any fucking plausible sense. Like the ice and then the wind, and I'm like, no. And again, like the biggest thing is how it's just consecutive, and if the wind was, that powerful, why would it blow the rest of the dirt around? And it's not like there's not like huge ass wind burst patterns like over there, like in the middle of nowhere where there is no rock. Yeah. There's like, oh, right here specifically the wind was blowing and it just pushed. No, that's some bullshit. No, it seems more plausible there's some sort of geomagnetic force going on.
I bet there's somebody out there doing the math. I think that the magnetic force theory is probably a better theory than the wind and ice theory.
What? Which again, I could see that, but it wouldn't leave a trail. It wouldn't be consistent. It wouldn't be that long. You may have a couple rocks move here and there an inch or two, back and forth, or have some sort of shit. But this thing continually just keeps tracking along like it's moving. Like something's pulling it, or it's got legs and it's walking. Like it just seems a little too much.
Yeah.
Right. I'm always amazed at all the crazy shit these fuckers carry around. Like that is some impressive. Like
that's an exercise.
Call it whatever you want. That fucker's walking around with a mace.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, call it whatever you want. He's walking around with a 2-foot fucking mace with a 2.5 fucking pound ball at the end. Yeah, I'm out here pumping my arms, officer, as I bash in their windshield.
Have you seen what actual people do with that? Like, that guy does not look like he actually uses it.
No.
It looks like he's just carrying it around because he needs to protect his masculinity.
Actually, you'd be surprised. Homeless people, their biggest issue is other homeless people.
Uh-huh.
Like, they just rob and kill and rape each other, and I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Oh, yeah.
And that's why a lot of them, like, if you go to my stores all the time, like, there's all kinds of pipes and bats and sticks and shit that they leave in front of the doors and they forget about. We have to come around, we do trash, we throw them away and stuff because they just routinely carry weapons with them like that all the time. Yeah. Everybody. Knives and shit. And I'm like, I asked somebody, I'm like, why? And they're like, oh, other homeless people. I'm like, what? The fuck?
Yeah, well, it makes sense. It makes sense. If you don't have something and somebody else had a really good day on the corner and you just jack that fool for what he has, you don't have to stand out there on the corner.
Well, I would never propose to be in a certain scenario, but if I ever found myself in that scenario, I'd rob someone who had more than nothing like I did. I wouldn't be like, I'm going to go rob this guy for his fucking EBT card. I'm like, you know what, let me go over here and rob this bitch for her Mercedes. Like, I don't know, I would...
Yeah, but then the cops actually get called. A homeless dude?
That's true.
Who's going to call, like, the homeless guy, I got robbed. Okay, sure, pal, you got robbed. That sucks. Sucks for you.
No, it happens all the time. They come in, they're like, so-and-so is trying to kill me, and we're like, okay.
See?
Yeah, you're right.
It's that apathy. But a woman in a Mercedes, a refined woman in a Mercedes-Benz gets carjacked. She calls the cops. Next thing you know, there's 50 squad cars and an APB out for that Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah. Okay. It's like I would never be homeless. I think it'd be too easy to camp everywhere. Like mobile camping, which what they do. But again, living in the wilderness. Anyway, folks, don't be homeless. Don't be a gypsy.
If you want to be homeless...
I mean, like, gypsy people. I mean, I don't roam around.
You want to be a roamer? What do we call it?
Actually, no. I had to correct myself for a second because I used a term, and it's a generic, like, term, and I actually forget that there are gypsy people, you know, and I'm not trying to like...
The Romana, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
Gypsy
mean,
is
like,
a slang.
gypsy. Yeah, I wasn't like...
That is a slang.
Yeah, so I tried to correct myself there real quick.
And they put it on par with the N-word, but the difference is I'm not afraid to say gypsy. I am afraid to say the N-word.
I honestly didn't know, like, I thought maybe, like, if you were being derogatory towards someone, sure, but I thought gypsy was a self-proclaimed kind of, like, title almost, like, we're roaming gypsies, and I'm like, cool, all right, you know, like...
No, I think that's one of those things that was Americanized and accepted.
Okay. Well,
So-
what did they call themselves back in the old country?
Romana.
Romana?
They're Romana, yeah.
Okay.
And then other people akin gypsy to them because, you're just a dirty gypsy who's going to curse me.
Okay, see, that makes...
You know?
Okay. I think it's different to being ignorant versus being a bigot. So that was just me being ignorant, folks.
Yeah, now you've been educated. Like, I try not to use that term. But, then again, I'm not afraid to say it. Like I illustrated earlier today, I'm not afraid of it.
Yeah, I wouldn't. You're right. It doesn't carry that. And if it doesn't mean that way for someone who is of that, you know, descent and ethnicity, then I apologize. But yeah, it doesn't have the same like cultural connotation.
So, I knew this guy for years as Karis the Gypsy in the SCA. Shout out to him. He's a really awesome drummer. He made drums, sells drums. Now he has his own business, which is another thing. But he changed his persona's name, if you're familiar with the SCA and how they all have their personas and different names and what have you. He changed his name from Karis the Gypsy to Karis the Traveler because of that. Oh, damn. All right. Of course, we showed up. Some more like 6-7 cars show up to our favorite coffee spot here. You gonna venture off and try something weird?
Well, I'm either gonna get this Winterberry turnover. I'm probably leaning more towards a peppermint fudge Pop-Tart. I'm gonna see what this is about. But I'm gonna get some black hot tea.
You like that black hot tea?
Yeah, hasn't let me down so far.
Fair enough.
Everything else I'm like is hit or miss. Wayne's got his, you know.
Protein power pack, baby. Tried and true. Yeah, can I get a protein power pack, please?
Can I get a 16-ounce, 1-bag hot black tea? And a peppermint fudge Pop-Tart?
Okay, and then did you want like English breakfast or Earl Grey for your tea?
We'll do black.
They're both kind of black.
Oh, okay.
English breakfast or Earl Grey?
We'll do Earl Grey. Sorry.
Almost. You almost had that without
question.
questions.
It was the peppermint fudge Pop-Tart. Like I almost knew what I was talking about. She's like, no, you didn't.
Almost.
I'm out of the Pop-Tarts. I'm out of the Pop-Tarts and the turnovers that I know of right now, and the eggnog latte stuff.
Don't worry about it.
Denied.
Is this the drinks for you guys?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, I don't worry about it. Cool.
Is it your week?
I'm not sure.
I think it's your week.
I honestly don't remember.
I remember this one because I'm broke this week. Got to recover from Christmas and all that. I'm a brokey!
I'm a brokey. I know that's like his word, but I know other people have used it way before that. But he is very famous for it.
Broke is a state of the mind. All right, we're rolling on like 54 minutes. You want to just end it here?
I don't know.
Yeah, let's stop it here. Why not?
What's the outro? Stay spicy. Be kind.
What did you say?
Don't be a fuck. don't
Stay
be a
off
fucking
fentanyl.
banana.
Don't be homeless or whatever.
Don't be homeless. Well, you can be a traveler. You can be living that off-grid lifestyle. You know.
That off-grid lifestyle. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Just don't be a druggie. I don't know. Anyway.
Until next time.
Yep.